Jermaine, I wanted to ask, how was the combine experience for you? What did you take from it? And what was said to you maybe, from the scouts? What did they like about your game and all?
It was an awesome experience, man. Like, no one in my family has done anything like this, or really someone I'm remotely close to. So being able to go there and experience that is a blessing. It was a long week, but it was fun, and, I got to be around some of the, best guys in my class to do it. So it's just awesome to be around that environment and be in the NFL and talking to all these teams, it's something you dream of. So it was an awesome experience. I took a ton from it. But they just liked, films. Film speaks for itself for the most part, and, to them I played really well. And obviously we talked about some things I can get better at. And but as far as they're concerned, I kind of got it all going for me. I just, the story of everything with me, just go back it up when time comes, and that's what I intend to do.
Brendan?
Kind of following up on that, Jermaine, just the past year since you came to Florida State, you went from being a part-time starter at Georgia to being a full-time starter, team captain at Florida State, and then Senior Bowl, Combine, just senior draft stock rise. I guess how surreal or I guess crazy has the last year been for you?
Yeah, it's been pretty awesome. It's been pretty wild. But one thing I always kind of tried to keep with me this year was, everything I can control, I'll put in my hands and I'll take care of. But everything outside of that, I put in God's hands, and He allowed me to focus that much more and be able to do what I've done this past year, both on and off the field. So, I just focus on what I can control, what I can't. I put in God's hands, and, everything happened the way it happened.
Ben Meyerson?
Hey, Jermaine. It seems like the Senior Bowl was really a huge part of your draft process. You even shut yourself down kind of early in the week. What was that experience like? And then did you notice any difference in what you were hearing from teams before and after that? And what was that Senior Bowl like overall?
It was awesome. I went there because I wanted to prove I could do what I do against anybody, and in this case, the best of the best. And I think I did that, and, and other people think I did as well. But like I said, just controlling what I can control, how I play, my effort, the plays I make, how badly I beat people, those are things I can control. So I tried to control that the best I could. But as far as narratives and projections and all that other stuff goes, I can't control that. I can control, how I work.
Matt?
Jermaine, you mentioned this a little bit earlier on your comments. What would this all mean? I know you still got process to go with Pro Day this week and going obviously to the draft, but what would this mean to you? What would this mean to your family to hear your name called and be drafted to get to the NFL? Just come and talk a little bit about what that experience would be like for your family.
I have no idea. It would be pretty wild, but I know once it is called, it's it's that mountaintop experience, right? And then you're gonna enjoy it. I'll make an effort to enjoy it as much as I can, but I'm always a job not finished kind of guy. So I'll take it in and then, look at the next mountain to climb. But it'll definitely be awesome, and, we'll all enjoy it and look back at all the sacrifices we've made in order for me to get here, because it wasn't just a Jermaine Johnson effort, right? I have a team behind me, a support system behind me, and we all sacrificed a lot for me to be here. So we'll enjoy that, but, job will definitely not be finished.
Kurt?
Hey, Jermaine, I know you did the 40. I don't know if you did the full array of drills at the Combine. What are you doing tomorrow? And I guess where do you think, if you're, depending on what you're doing, where do you think you can improve?
Right. I'm just benching tomorrow. Taking it pretty easy in terms of the on-field drills and stuff. Me and my team don't see the reason to risk it. But I'm just benching, and I'm really excited to go out there and cheer on my teammates, because that's awesome. This is an experience, and we've all been training the same and working our butts off the same. So I'm just excited for me to go out there and do what I do, and my teammates to go out there to do what they do, and I'll be cheering them on every step of the way.
Corey Clark?
Yeah, Jermaine, I was just wondering, out of sheer curiosity, do you pay attention to mock drafts?
No, I think that stuff is rat poison. I don't like to look at it. If my agent wants to look at that stuff, he can, but I don't look at it. I keep my head down and I work and I train. Same thing as I was at Florida State. you can get hype or whatever. I never paid attention to that. I was focused on being the best teammate I could, and in this case, I'm focused on, keep my head down and doing things right off the field so that when time comes, I'm ready.
Carter?
Jermaine, got a Florida State question for you. Defensive line coming back. Who do you think is poised to have a big year this coming season?
I think the unit as a whole, to be quite honest, those guys, they work well together. They're that backbone on the defense, and definitely, when things are going right up front, the game will probably be much easier. So I think those guys, they got a strong hold. And I've been at a couple practices. I've been lifting with the guys, and the chemistry is there. And not only that, but they're actually, they're improving their skill sets as well. So I'm just excited to see all those guys go out there and play as a cohesive unit and, see the results.
Ben Meyerson?
Hey Jermaine, we're about a month away from the draft now. Do you have any official plans on what you're going to be doing that first day? You want to go in person or anything like that?
Yeah, I plan, on going to the draft. Like I said, nobody in my family has done anything like this, so it's going to be an awesome experience, and just to go there, I'm probably going to have to fly out that night or day after I get drafted, but it's still an awesome experience, and it's going to be one you remember forever. So I think I want to go, and my family is going to enjoy that, and I'm setting up a watch party back home in Minnesota for all my friends, family, loved ones to go. It's just celebrate it, because I came from there, and it's in a bowling alley right in the middle of my hometown. So I think I'll have a ton of loved ones there watching, bowling, doing whatever, supporting me. So that's awesome. Even though I'm gonna have 4 to 6 tickets, whatever it is, I know I'm gonna have a crazy array of loved ones and supporters back home cheering me on.
Corey?
Yeah, Jermaine, I was wondering, you hear all these stories when people projected as high as you about background checks and talking to people in your life.
Right.
Have you heard from former teachers and coaches and friends and family about teams contacting them?
Yeah, I think teams go, as far back as to middle school, So, they definitely do their homework, and and it's smart on their end. It's an investment. They got to make sure, the guy is who he says he is, and in this case, make sure that these people can back that up. So, yeah, they go pretty deep into it, and they definitely know things that you're like, how did you know? But, it's their jobs, and, they're doing them well. So, yeah.
Aslan?
Sounds kind of weird, Jermaine, so I apologize in advance. But back in June, my buddy came to visit me in Tallahassee. He played Division I Power 5 ball, and we went out to dinner.
Right.
And you and your mother might have actually ended up sitting down next to us, and he was kind of like eavesdropping in on your conversation back in June. And you were talking about how you wanted to have this done by November. You want to know where you're going to go train for the combine to get ready for the NFL draft on this sort of date. And then you go and have this all ACC season. You're being mocked. I know it's rat poison or whatever, but just how cool is it that life works out the way you had it planned out all along?
Well, God is great, and people say if you want to hear God laugh, tell him your plans, because it never goes directly according to plan. And I couldn't have told you I'd win awards and have the stats I did. I just kept the main thing, and that was being the best teammate I could and serving in any way I could. So I don't know what all was said in the conversation, but I like to keep that stuff as far away and just keep my mind focused on what's in front of me.
Matt?
Jermaine, I know a lot of scouts and GMs like to ask questions during the combine. Was there an unusual one that maybe stumped you a little bit, that they threw your way, that kind of stood out to you?
Not really. They were all pretty standard. There was nothing really crazy like you hear in those stories, but it was all pretty standard, and it was an awesome process.
Brendan?
Jermaine, can you kind of go over your journey to Florida State? So you went through the JUCO route. How did you go to JUCO initially? Given your skill set, why JUCO route initially, then Georgia, then FSU? I guess, what did you learn along each stop along the way?
Right. I've told this a million times in this process. But no, I went the junior college route directly out of high school. I was a non-qualifier. And then I got qualified in junior college and did 18 months there, got my AA degree. with a 3.3 GPA, and then I was essentially able to choose anywhere to play football in the country. Chose Georgia, would still make that decision. I'm the player and person I am today because of my time there. So I played at Georgia for 2 years and then made the decision to come to Florida State. Like I've expressed before to the media, because mainly Coach Norvell. He's got this program on the right track, and, I think people will see that pretty soon, and if they haven't already. But Coach Norvell, he told me what he wanted me to do and what he expected me to do, and, I kind of took that challenge and opportunity and I ran with it.
Ben?
Jermaine, obviously the NFL Combine is the ultimate job interview for players who are coming up. So, what kind of nerves did you have kind of going into that Navy? And then what was that process like talking to all those teams?
I didn't really have too many nerves, to be quite honest. I always feel like I belong among the best of the best, so I wasn't really too nervous. Like I said, I know my film looks good, and I know who I am as a person, so I went in there pretty comfortable. But it was just one of those experiences that you were excited and you'll remember forever, because not everyone gets to do that. For sure, not everyone gets to do that. So. Me and Jay Sean were able to experience that and, put on for Florida State University.
Carter?
Jermaine, you mentioned how you've been to a couple practices, seem to be hanging around Tallahassee a little bit. I'm wondering if maybe just why you've wanted to do that, and just how much Florida State has meant to you, and how they were able to have such an impact on you despite you only being here for a year.
Right. This is my family. This is my home. My life is forever changed because of Florida State. And, even though I'm not a player here anymore, I'm still going to invest as much as I can, serve as much as I can, especially while I'm here. I've always been like that. So, as hard as it is for me to, not have pads on out there and still be out there with the guys, I know just being out there, is enough for me. And any way that I can help or motivate or do anything in that sort to the team, I'm gladly, willing to do so. So it's just one of those things that, I'm getting more in return than I'm giving, truly. It makes me happy being around the family, the guys, and, I hope it makes them happy too, because, I definitely have a smile on my face.
Matt?
Jermaine, McKenzie just a little bit ago said this group of guys going to pro day tomorrow, you guys all came from different paths and had to face different challenges to get there. You almost weren't going to expect it to be here.
Right.
What's it going to be like tomorrow to get on the field, even though you're only doing a little bit, but getting on the field and watching these guys compete and have an opportunity maybe to go to the NFL?
It's going to be awesome. Like Mackenzie said, we've all kind of been crazy trajectory, crazy routes to get here. So just seeing an opportunity to be able to work out and do things in front of, NFL teams is always awesome. It's something you dream of. So it's just one of those things, like in the moment you got to be like, wow, I'm here. Enjoy it while you're working, right? So it's just sitting back and enjoying it and working and being able to do something that a lot of guys aren't able to do.
Ben?
Jermaine, you were at Georgia before you were at FSU, and you were with a really impressive group of guys along that defensive line. They were all kind of showing out in their own way at the Combine.
Right.
When you reflect back on that, what will you remember about that group? And what's it like to see all those guys kind of going through this process, doing really well,
Right.
And guys coming in the future too from that room?
Right. Those are my brothers. They know that. I went to the Senior Bowl with a couple of them, a few of them, and it was like nothing ever changed. Like we're at practice at Georgia again. So, we got a tight bond that'll never be broken. And doing what they did at the Combine and doing the numbers that they were doing, I wasn't really surprised. Those guys are freaks. I practice with them, and most of all, they're good people. So, we're locked in for life, just like my brothers here. So, I'm proud of them, and I know they're proud of me.
Carter?
Jermaine, when you decided to transfer, what were kind of the qualities you saw in Florida State that led you not just to transfer there, but to believe that you could take that risk of, the impact you had at Georgia and translating it to being in this featured role at Florida State?
To be quite honest, I just prayed on the decision. It was a big decision, and like I said, I put everything I can't control in God's hands. So I prayed on it, and then I woke up the next morning, pretty confident in the decision I wanted to make, and that was coming to Florida State. So that was enough for me. And obviously, I talked to Coach Novell, and everything lined up that way. But it was, it wasn't really the hardest decision. I just kind of knew it when I heard it, and slept on it and prayed about it, and the rest is history.
Awesome. Thanks, Jermaine.
Thank you.